Hey everyone, sorry apparently I was asleep in a cave on the far side of the moon because the trailer for season 7 of Game of Thrones just came out. So here's Game of Thrones D's previews. Hey everyone, D here, and I just wanted to briefly talk about the preview for Game of Thrones Season 7 that just came out. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to analyze each and every scene that's there. I just want to talk real briefly about what the preview sort of presents to us, what we're to expect for Season 7, and kind of what it doesn't. We're really talking about here the way that the preview is brought out as, this is the war. This is the big conflict that we've been expecting between East and West, between the Lannisters and kind of everyone else. The opening dialogue or the opening monologue where we have Cersei talking about they are alone now. They have enemies to the east of them, and there's Grey Worm. To the west of them, we see the Iron Fleet. To the south of them, that's just a knife. I'm going to assume Dorne. And to the north of them, of course, the Stark. Interestingly here, Arya Stark. But that makes sense because we're kind of holding on to Jon for a moment. What we're here is really seeing also color-wise is the Baratheon name, I think, at this point has fallen. This is all completely Lannister. Everything is red. Everything is gold. The lion is everywhere. I think we're going to see the dropping of the imagery of Baratheon anywhere around, and this is going to be a complete Lannister army for Cersei. And then, of course, we move on to seeing Dany, who is talking about, I was born to rule. And we're seeing some new scenes with her. We're seeing a big door opening up, and I was like, it almost reminds of the Eyrie, but it didn't look quite the same. I am wondering if this is the Tyrells that we're going to see out, who of course certainly have reason to hate Cersei and be looking for an ally. Marjorie Tyrell, or Grandma Tyrell rather, very smart and wise about that. So I think those are the beginning scenes that we're seeing with there. Also, we have Dany on a new throne. It's not the Iron Throne. It almost looks like, honestly, I'm in California. It looked like Vasquez Rocks. Tons of sci-fi places are showing up right there. But the whole kind of rocky outcropping scenery right there could be the Eyrie, but again, didn't look the same. So I'm hoping this is sort of a new place where we have Dany getting some people underneath her. And then, of course, we talk about the King of the North. The King of the North. We have Jon and all of his forces up there battling, trying to set their positions. What we, again, think is for this big grand battle. And, of course, we have Davos talking about this is the time we've got to put our differences aside and bind together if we are going to survive. After that, it's just a lot of constant imagery. Of course, see the mountain in all of his regal splendor. We've got Daenerys' troops in their armor. We get some shots of Dornish troops. So all of this is conflict. All of this is implying the big battle. And even the overlay of Jon's statement of the Great War is here. The imagery we have of this is the Lannisters and Targaryens at war. That is not the Great War, because the thing that we really don't see in this episode anywhere are White Walkers. And for Jon, the reality of like anything that is south of the wall, any of those conflicts, that's not the Great War. Those are people vying for position on a throne. For those in the north, for those on the watch, the Great War is only the war with the White Walkers. So while we see a lot for this preview, and again, we've got Dornish, we've got battle, we've got all of these strong imageries coming up, and beautiful shots, by the way, of course, as usual. I think we're only seeing maybe 2 or 3 episodes into this season. Now, it's a shortened season, so I think it's 7 episodes this season and 6 episodes next season, if I'm remembering correctly. But however, these are truncated seasons. There's a lot that has to happen. And we have had this expectation for the War of the White Walkers for a couple of seasons. We've been waiting for them to come down. And finally, the end of last season, we had the line, "Winter is here," which is when the walkers attack. So I think this preview is only the first couple episodes. I think this is just setting things up. I mean, part of it, we're seeing Arya in the north on horseback, but she's not with anyone. She's certainly wandering around. She just took care of old man Bridge up there feeding his kids the pie, the phrase. So I don't think it's going to take her that long to get from Walder Frey's place all the way up to Winterfell. So I think even her journey, we're only seeing a short little bit. I think these first things is going to be Daenerys landing. We're going to have some negotiations. We're going to have battle sets being drawn. And I think we're going to start the big war between Daenerys and Cersei. But I think that's going to be interrupted when the White Walker army probably breaks through the wall and comes out. So that is my expectation. We saw a lot in this, but I think it's what we didn't see is what's really going to clue us into what's going to happen. Because the White Walkers, again, they have been the big bad. If we are expecting them to be this big bad, it's going to take a while to deal with them. It's not going to be a couple of episodes. It's not going to be one big battle or two big battles. We need at least the rest of this season to get into a big area of like, oh my God, for the last season, so we have our big cliffhanger before we finally have to finish things up next season and then wrap up the whole storyline. So that's a lot of ground to cover in order to give the White Walkers their due. They're going to have a lot of episodes of battle, of fear, of pressure on the rest of the kingdom. So I think with this preview, we're only seeing the first couple of episodes. That's just to wet our whistle before we are distracted by the real war that is coming, which is the Walkers. So that's it. That's what I expect this season to be. I'm really excited to see it. A lot of fun stuff within this preview. Really just wetting our whistle. I think we're going to see something else, of course, before the season starts in July. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of review. As usual, likes, comments, subscribes, all that. Use the subscription button and a review. Our latest review, I'll just throw up right here. You can check that out. So, that's it. I'm D. I'll see you guys July 16th. Game of Thrones Season 7 is back. Bye-bye.